and ground, folks. Guys, I am on the way to an existing maintenance customer. This is another heat maintenance. I believe this is a crown boiler. This boiler has to be at least 150,000 BTUs. Guys, we did a bunch of work here. I think we replaced an expansion tank and a relief valve at least 3 or 4 years ago. We replaced the thermocouple. They got like 5 or 6 zone valves here, if I'm not mistaken. This is a large, older home. But guys, I am almost there now. Let's go take a look. I'll see y'all when I get inside. All right, guys, we're downstairs. And what is this, a 138? Put in 2005. No, this is a 195. This is a big boy. And guys, I can't help but think, hopefully no time soon, but if and when this boiler needs to get replaced, it's gonna be fun taking it out this basement. But for context, guys, a bunch of work got done here. Not recently, but expansion tank, relief valve, thermocouple, pilot tube, and they got a air handler. I think they had 2. They have one down here and one upstairs. We replaced the ECM blower motor maybe 5-6 years ago in that air handler, and the list goes on, guys. I think we replaced a contactor and cap outside. But yeah, guys, there was definitely a bunch of work done here. But guys, I mentioned this a few videos ago, storage tanks. This customer, this is a great example. This customer could have went with a standalone 40 or 50 gallon water heater. And as you see, the chimney is here, but this is a residential house. This is not like a commercial application. Storage tanks are feasible for smaller locations. I believe they only have about 2.5 bathrooms. It's under 3, but this is a 50 gallon storage tank. And they have a relay, they have a pump, and it works indirectly with the boiler. So if there's a call for hot water, boiler runs and sends hot water through the loop to do the heating. That can work, but like I said, guys, most of you guys, and I read the comments on this a few weeks back, some of you guys may have seen storage tanks heat up apartment complexes, but I'm talking in single family homes, mainly residential applications. For the most part, they'll have either smaller storage tanks, meaning 40 to 50 gallons, or standalone water heaters once you get past 50 gallons. Not to say you can't do both, but this customer and maybe 2 other customers are the only 2 customers that have this setup. But the similarities between all 3 residents is that they're all single family. We're not talking mansions. A few customers got 2 75-gallon water heaters twinned together, piped together. So yeah, guys, it's interesting stuff here, that's for sure. But yeah, moving along, let's take the burners out. And I already turned this thing on. Actually, it was running when I got here. I had to crank it up to 80 and I had to turn the thermostat off. But I'm going to tell you guys in a second how I feel about these zone valves in a second, but let me pull the burners out and clean them. I'll be right back. All right, guys. Burners don't look too bad. And remember, we've been coming out here for a long time, so this is not going to be a worst scenario like you would typically see with equipment not serviced for an extended amount of time. But nonetheless, we still want to check all the burners. Get our brush, clean underneath the bottom of the boiler, and make sure there's no piles of dust or debris. But guys, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put my burners back in, test my safeties, and I'll be right back. Guys, everything's firing up. I'm pretty sure for you guys to work on boilers, which is probably 98% of you if you do HVAC in Pennsylvania. But I'm pretty sure with this indirect water heater, it's probably set up on priority zone on the switchboard. If you guys know, priority zone places, hence the name priority, on one zone versus the rest. You see in this case, we got 4 zones, including our hot water heater zone. But I know right now, since I had this boiler off for like 20 minutes, I'm pretty sure the water has gotten cold. Now, I only have the first floor zone on. This customer has 3 levels here. You have first, second, and third floor. And then the 4th zone is my hot water, but I'm pretty sure my hot water heater is calling for the burners to turn on. So the boiler is going to satisfy the temperature at the indirect water tank, all while still heating the house up. So yeah, guys, indirect setups are cool as long as the storage tank is spaced correctly, and of course the boiler is big enough to handle the demand for hot water and heat. So last thing you want to do, this is a 195K. Last thing you want to do is undersize the boiler, and now when the heat and the hot water calls at the same time, either the customer's going to have a cold house or cold water, so you don't want that. But guys, moving along here, this customer does have 4 zone valves and 1 circulator. My preference, and I explained this to the customer a few years ago, when they do end up replacing this boiler, I would definitely like to cut out these zone valves and put in the 4 circulator pumps with a switching relay right on the wall there. Now guys, to each his own. Zone valves versus circulator pumps, they both can achieve the same feat, meaning you can have individual zones turn on without the rest of the house getting hot, which is great. But however, the reason why I like circulator pumps over zone valves is that, for one, you get better flow with an individual circulator pump. 2, you get less water hammer because these circulator pumps have built-in check valves. And 3, like I said, guys, I just like circulator pumps over zone valves. That's enough. That's enough said. But guys, the benefits of Taco zone valves over circulator pumps is, for one, it's a lot cheaper because with zone valves, you don't need a switching relay. The only thing you need is a separate transformer, which is on that wall, to power each one of these zone valves. So it's a lot less space you have to deal with. But at that point, I can't really name you another advantage besides being cheaper. And, well, actually 2 advantages. It's cheaper, and then 2, it saves you space. Because if you had circulator pumps, you might have to space the headers out a little far apart. But for what it's worth, guys, like I said, I've seen this a bunch of times. Customers with more than 2 or 3 zone valves, you're going to get that water hammer, and not necessarily water hammer, but you just have noises from time to time once the zone valve opens and closes. And like I said, guys, to each his own. I'm not saying zone valves can't work. I'm just saying if I was in a situation in which this customer was replacing a boiler and or starting from scratch, circulators is the way to go. So, but let me know what you guys think in the comments. Do you prefer zone valves over circulators, or do you like circulators over zone valves? Let me know what you guys think about that. But everything's rocking and rolling. I got an aquastat on the other end, and everything's piped in. Everything's rocking and rolling. And remember, guys, this customer has another AC unit upstairs. But what we'll do is we'll come back out in the spring. What is he, 1625s? Yep. We'll come back out in the spring. I got to get more filters for this unit here. But yeah, guys, there you have it. Heat maintenance, 195,000 BTU. Hot water boiler, everything's rocking and rolling. You guys know my preferred layout with circulator pumps. And I got to do the paperwork. I'm not getting any service in this basement, but I got to rock out. I got another job to get to. But yeah, I got to roll, guys. I will see y'all on the next one. Peace. I already mentioned, I want to shout out Dan Houlihan. Guys, I actually did a video last year on one of his hydronic books. Guys, it's a wealth of information, especially if you guys deal with hydronics. The concept of boilers. I mean, when I was training, a few guys, like I said, that taught me, they never dealt with boilers. I mean, to each his own, but if you do have the privilege, and if you do have the customers, the clientele to have hydronics, it's worth your while to make sure you go on Amazon and get a few of his hydronic books, whether it be hot water or steam. I prefer both, but it's a wealth of knowledge. One of the things he mentioned is that if you're installing the boiler, if you put the circulator pump on the supply versus the return, it'll make it easier to bleed air from the system. But nonetheless, guys, it's still a bunch of different tactics and just overall experience. You know, he's been in this like 40, maybe 50 years, guys, but I like the examples and the illustrations that he gives. Meaning back in the day, before you had circulator pumps on those gravity hot water systems, turning off the radiators to balance out systems. Guys, I made a whole almost an hour-long video. Like you said, guys, it's definitely fascinating, especially if you deal with this stuff, to know how these boilers evolved from the 1940s and 1950s till now. So make sure you guys pick up one of those damn Houlihan books and let the journey begin, guys. But after all, I gotta get up out of here. Everything's heating up. I will see you guys on the next one. Peace.